Hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. This is episode 27 of my investing journey, where I share my weekly portfolio updates, ETF buys and sells, income progress, and how I'm building an income-focused portfolio over time. I can't believe we are already in the month of July. It's unbelievable how fast this year is going. It feels like it was just yesterday that I was recording episode 1 in January, and yet here we are. Today I'm starting the episode not by showing you where we are at, but by sharing with you that I'm going to be attending Blossom Con 2026 in Toronto in July. It took me a while to decide whether I wanted to do it or not. I'm not really one to go to this type of events. I like to learn, but I always think of this type of events as more of a, like a type of like hard sell type kind of thing, like those things where they try to sell you a holiday or something like that. But then I was watching some of the other YouTubers that I follow on the internet talk about this, and I thought, why not? And I got a code, which gave me a discount. Because money for me, it's important, and I know it doesn't feel like it's a lot of money, but money, it's important. So I got a discount, and then I was talking to the wife, and she was like, "Oh, come on, you don't really do much. Go out and enjoy it, right?" I'm like, "Okay, fair enough." So there you go. So I will be there. It's July 25th, Saturday. And then if anyone of you is there and you see me, please do not hesitate. Come and say hello. Okay. All right. Well, let's get on with what really matters. So we are up again this week. We went up to 10.12. We were down 9 point something last week. We're up again 10.12. It was a very short week. Wednesday was Canada Day. Then Friday, U.S. markets closed early for July the 4th, 250-year anniversary for the United States. Happy birthday. So it was a short week, but even though it was a short week, we actually did pretty well, as you will see as we go into the presentation. As always, I did my usual weekly contribution. No additional contributions this week, I'm afraid, but we put in our $75. As always, investing in the future, like I mentioned in a couple of episodes, this is a 10-year journey. This is our second year on the 10-year journey. So far, so good. All right. So what do we do with those $75? Well, I bought one share of PayJet, one share of HYLD, one share of CMCL, and one share of HHIC. Okay. Again, this was another steady accommodation week. There were no trimmings, and so far, so good. In terms of the overall portfolio performance, as I mentioned in the very beginning, well, the portfolio remains in the green and is now up to 10.12% year to date, compared with 9.64% year to date last week. So that's an increase. That's a modest increase of 0.48 percentage basis points, right? But it puts the account back above the 10% mark, which it's not that I really care. But when you compare it to the S&P, we're keeping par with it. So it's pretty good, both the S&P and the NASDAQ. So yeah, now looking at the week today rankings, as this was a shortened week for the portfolio, I think that benefited the fact that we have more green names than we do red. I don't think people had the time to react to news most of the time, because in Canada, the markets were closed on Wednesday, and in the US, they closed on Friday. So any external news didn't really make much of an impact. But as you can see, HHIS, which is really the one that surprised me the most, was up 5.71% last week, which is really good. Here we have the 5 names that really did amazing. Again, the one that stands out, the winner, is HHIS, 5.71%. We have to thank the tech and the growth sleeve that ran hard again. So that obviously benefited HHIS. Hamilton Day Max ETF did also very well, especially S Day and Q Day. They also had a very, very strong week. In terms of what didn't do very well last week, well, CCHI was down 6.44%. Yeah, 6.44%. Uranium got hit hard. Don't know why. I guess probably because, as the Strait of Hormuz keeps opening and there's more oil flowing into the markets, those prices are going to come down. And that has an impact on atomic energy. I'm trying to figure out how they relate to each other, but I'm going to put it down to that. Okay. So yeah, this was definitely the weakest performer by a wide margin. And I guess in a way it fits with the broader pressure on uranium and related energy sensitive names as oil keeps dropping, right? I was at the petrol station the other day. No, I was there because I wanted to buy a donut and a coffee, and I saw that petrol was down back to $1.55 compared to like $1.80 a few weeks back, and that's not a bad drop. So yeah. So what have we learned from this week? Well, every week brings new learnings. This week, we can really see how the Canadian bank sector and diversified income names really held up very well. The tech sleeve did actually a lot of the lifting this week. It's amazing because last week it was the totally opposite. On the market side, so Thursday's close, right? Well, the backdrop is actually pretty interesting when you think about it. The S&P 500 had a solid week. The Dow was even stronger, and the TSX was actually quite positive too. The Nasdaq 100 was a little bit softer, and that reflects on what we're seeing in the semiconductors and chip-related names, which had a huge run at the beginning of the year, right? So yeah, overall, this is really being quite a good week. So heading into next week, what I'm going to be watching is, are the semiconductors going to keep on cooling, or is it just a pause? And then, anything else that may come up in terms of news, right? And this is pretty much it for episode 27. There was something else I wanted to share with you. Oh, yeah. Yeah, sorry, out of the blues. So I had someone wrote me a note, and they asked me, why do I do this? It's not the first time that somebody asks me that. Actually, I think this is the second or third time. And I was like, well, I mean, it should be pretty obvious by now why I'm doing this, right? But I guess it's not. If you take a look at all the other YouTubers out there that deal with PII, like Adriano, like Better Call Paul, like JJ, most of them already have an extremely sizable position to play with, right? I think Adriano, it's in the over 1 million, over 2 million, or something like that. Paul, it's on the 400,000, 500,000. So these are sizable positions that allow you to do a lot with them. I believe Paul is now playing with options. Adriano does his own thing. He's he's up there. There's no reaching up to him. But I do believe that a great majority of the people watching those videos don't have that type of capital, i.e. me. I don't have $400,000 just lying around to be able to play with. What I've got is $75 that I can put away every week. So I thought, if I start from zero and I show people the way how they can do it too, by starting from zero, then that would be, that would be something that people can think and say, yeah, if I'm disciplined, if I stop like gambling, or if I stop, and by gambling I mean like buying lottery tickets or things like that, where you spend $20 and then you just lost those $20. Well, grab those $20 and put it into one of these things, Open an account in Wealthsimple. They charge no commission when you buy a share. You can see I'm buying one share, right? This week I only bought 4 shares because that's all I could buy, right? But if you saw my last week episode, I made $68 in income last month, right? This month is going to be more, right? So that's why I do this. I do this so others can see what I'm doing, and then they can say, hey, if Angelo can do it, I can do it too. It's possible. You don't need to have $400,000 in a bank account to start doing this and to make money, right? And I've got a 10-year window. That's all I have. 10 years, right? I need to make sure that in those 10 years, I make as much as I can in order to achieve my goal, which is to earn $1,000, $2,000 of additional income, right? So that's it, really. So this is it. Sorry about the rambling. This is it for episode 27. Thanks for following along. If you like what you see, please give us a like and subscribe. We're trying to reach 100 subscribers by the end of the year. And we'll be back next week with the next update, which will be episode 28. Thank you so much. Take care. See you at Blossom.com. Bye-bye now.